Hey, I'm Ali, welcome to my world, bitch. I haven't posted in like a year, but I wrote this thing on the Bechdel test like a year ago, and I wanted to put it up here, and I just decided on a whim like 5 minutes ago that I was going to do it. My hair is very oily, and as I said, I haven't posted in a really long time. I'm sure all 0 of you watchers, subscribers, whatever, are really disappointed and you've really missed me, but hey bitch, now I'm back. So just, I don't need to hear it. Don't tell me in the comments how much you missed me, or you know how disgusting and oily my hair is and all that kind of stuff. I just don't need to hear it. I mean, just don't bring up the engagement points, don't like, don't subscribe, any of that. I just don't need it, you know what I mean? Except that I very much would like it. So the Bechdel test is a term that we use when we're discussing a piece of media and its representation of women. In order for something to pass the Bechdel test, you have to have 2 female characters who have names and talk to each other about something that isn't men. It doesn't sound super difficult. It's named after a cartoonist, Alison Bechdel, who coined the term in 1985, just pointing out the inequality in the representation and portrayal of women, in that women in media were so much just a prop for the man's story. So I'm an actor, okay? Which means that I have watched a lot of TV and movies, but I've also studied them intensely. Like, it is my passion, okay? The Bratz dolls have a passion for fashion. I have a passion for movies and just general media, okay? I love to consume it, distract me from the disaster of my own life. I'm also a staunch feminist, so I reckon I'm qualified to speak on this. However, I do want to point out that whenever I do talk about feminism, I feel stupid. Like, just because I'm not Judith Butler. I found this TikTok actually just this morning, which kind of like prompted me another thing to like make this video, and I'll show it to you now.
It feels weird being a feminist in 2021 because it kind of feels like all the hard stuff's been done. You know, like I feel like I've shown up late in the afternoon to help a friend move house. Let's move like the fridge and the bed, right? They filled whole trucks and I'm just carrying a lamp like, yeah, we did it!
She's great. She's really funny. She's cute. I like her. Now, if a movie or a piece of media or a TV show, whatever, passes the Bechdel test, that doesn't mean that the piece of media is good. It doesn't even mean that it's feminist. It's really just a tool that we use to point out and be like, hey, inequality. Let's fix that. It really just helps us to be aware of the clear bias in our media and in creation of media and the people who create the media. Often it is the cis, het, white men who are also straight. These renowned, acclaimed pieces of media don't pass the test. So just to reiterate, if you pass the Bechdel test, it doesn't mean that your piece of media is good. It just means that you have women who are like full proper people. The Bechdel test does, though, show the entirely male bias when creating media. It's the male perspective and the very obvious lack of a female perspective. The same can be said for stories about people of colour and also the LGBTQIA+ community. The entire world, not just the media. This is going to shock you, but the entire world seems to be centered around the straight white male. I wonder why.
Colonization. Yeah!
Finding a story pre-1970 about anything other than a cis-het white straight male is really hard to find. And even after you find it, it is super rare. Like, it is smaller than a needle in a haystack. Even now, queer shows, like past 5 to 10 years and now, are seen as gimmicky. And even female-driven stories are considered to be inferior to their male counterparts. Not only remakes like Oceans and Ghostbusters and stuff like that, but actual original female-driven stories like Lady Bird and Booksmart are seen to be pandering. Even though some might say they're better than their male counterparts, they're better than their predecessors because they actually say something about society. Superbad is great, but it's got nothing on Booksmart. There, I said it. So I just want to kind of quickly analyze some of my favorite movies from growing up. So either I saw it when I was in school, I was a kid, blah, blah, blah. So just before 2013. If it came out before 2013 and I saw it before 2013, it's in the list. And the kind of things that we were exposed to, and I'm not including any Disney. So I'm sorry, Liz McGuire movie, she deserves her own video. Like, I'm sorry, she's incredible. Basically, I just want to talk about, is it good? Is it feminist? And does it pass the Bechdel test? Because those are kind of my main points at, you know, showing the male bias in media, but also how many good movies don't pass the Bechdel test. Wizard of Oz, 1939. Yes, it does pass the Bechdel test, and yes, it is a good movie, but I would argue that it is not feminist, but it's not like anti-feminist either. It kind of just exists on this like neutral level. The only part of it that I can think of that makes me think it does pass the Bechdel test is because Dorothy talks to the Good Witch of the North and the Wicked Witch of the West, and they don't talk about men, except when the Wicked Witch of the West is threatening the men who she's decided to let tag along on this journey. Yikes. James Bond, the first movie was made in 1962, and I dare you to find one that does pass the Bechdel test, because I don't think that any of them do. Granted, I haven't rewatched any of these in preparation for this video. I haven't watched any of these and marked it off as, yes, it passes the test, no, it doesn't. This is just in my head. I've seen these 100 million times. I dare you to find me a James Bond movie that passes the Bechdel test. I freaking dare you. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, both 1971 and 2005. So 1971 does not pass the test, but it is a good movie. I love it so much. I will always skip the Cheer Up Charlie song because it sucks and it just doesn't need to be there at all. But the rest of the movie, gold. Love it. And the 2005 version, I feel like it does because, like, you know, you've got like the little friends, the Veronica and Violet. It's like, let's be friends, best friends. And it's just like cute. Back to the Future, 1985, 89, and 1990. No, and no. Absolutely not. Clueless, 1995. Yes, it does pass the test. It passes with flying colours, and it is a delightful movie. It is so good, and it absolutely is feminist. I love it. Amy Heckerling. Oh, my life. You've made it. You've made it. Congratulations, 1995. You haven't failed it. I was born in that year. Yes, 1995 has failed us. The Wedding Singer, 1998. Does not pass the test. We should make a song. It does not pass the test. I hate myself. The only thing I can think of women talking to each other in that movie is Drew Barrymore and her sister in the movie, and they only ever talk about men. So it doesn't pass the test. Suck it, Adam Sandler. 10 Things I Hate About You, 1999. Kind of only just. Because, like, the two sisters, like, they fight about, like, their mum being dead, and it's just like, oh, where'd you get the pearls? But most of the conversations center around men. So I'm gonna say, like, yes, you passed, but also, like, you're so close to not passing. Like, you didn't care about the women when you were making this movie. You didn't. Shrek 2001 and 2004, because those are the only ones that are worth counting. Those are the only ones that are worth my time. Unfortunately, it does not pass the Bechdel test. However, they are excellent movies, and I would argue that they are feminist. Because Fiona is a bad bitch. And we also have The Wolf, who, I don't know, I really like The Wolf. Charlie's Angels, 2000 and 2003. It does pass the test. Again, with flying colours, because they talk about fighting crime, kicking butt. Pew. Pew pew. They don't use guns in the movie. They do in the second one. They don't, because Drew Barrymore produced it, and she's really, like, adamant about being, like, anti-gun. But in the original TV show, they did use guns, and so they put it, like, into the story in the second one. Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, with, I was gonna say Mandy Moore, and I'm like, no, not her, it was Demi Moore. Spy Kids, 2001 and 2002, because they're good movies, and 2003, because it's a meme. Barely. I'm gonna say yes, because I'm sure there's a part where Carmen is talking to her mum, and they don't talk about a male, but I don't have a specific like instance in my head of it happening, but I'm like, I'm sure it must have happened. It must have. It must. SpiderMan 2002, 2004, because they're good, and 2007, because it's a meme. It does not. Not even close. Anytime that Mary Jane talks to I was gonna say Auntie M, and I'm like, no, that's Wizard of Oz. Aunt May. It's Aunt May. They're always talking about Peter. Frickin' Peter. Frickin' goblin looking dude. School of Rock 2003. It kills me to say this, but it does not pass the test. But it is a fantastic movie. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I'm gonna say no. It doesn't pass the test. I'm sorry. It doesn't. Yeah, because every conversation is about a man. And even when they're talking about work, it's about men. And you should actually listen. There's a podcast called Make It Scary, or it's called But Make It Scary. 50 First Dates from 2004. Adam Sandler, my dude, you have failed us again because this does not even come close to passing the Bechdel test. She only exists to be your love interest. White Chicks 2004. Yes, it does. It does pass the test because they are presenting as women and talking about things that aren't men. I'm gonna give this a yes. I mean, the movie is problematic for other reasons, but let's just say it is a feminist masterpiece, okay? Good job. 2 out of however many Wayans brothers there are. I don't know. Mean Girls 2004. Yes. Flying Colours. Tina Fey. Great time. What a good time. Feminist movie. Good messages. Funny as hell. Super quotable. And it passes the Bechdel test. It's great. It's a great time. You cannot fight me on it. I will win. Hitch 2005. Nope. Not even close. She's the Man from 2006. She's the Man does pass the Bechdel test because the ladies talk about things are men. They talk about soccer. John Tucker Must Die 2006. No. Sophia Bush, you have betrayed me. Ashanti, how dare you. Ariel Cabell. I think that's her name. Betrayal. How dare you. And Brittany Snow, you've hurt me the most. Actually, no, you haven't. You haven't, because I don't care. I care a lot. Step Brothers 2008. No! No! Not even close. Not even. It feels like a waste to put that movie on the list. And yes, the light behind me is changing because you know what happens as time goes on? The sun moves. Angus Thumbs and Perfect Snogging from 2008. I want to say no. Because every conversation is surrounded by boys. It's always about boys. And if it does get a pass, it's a teeny tiny, like, oh, only just. It's still a great movie though. And I think I would argue that it is feminist. I'm not going to write a dissertation about it because I'm not academic, but I'll fight you with my punches. Wild Child 2008. Yes, it does, because they talk about each other and they talk about food a little bit, and they talk. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. Is it feminist? Probably not. Is it good? Probably not. Fire It Up 2009. No, it doesn't. But also, does it kinda? I think it does. I think it might. I don't know. I think it does. I think because they talk about cheerleading, they must, right? Easy A from 2010. Like, I want to say no, but I also want to say like yes. I'm gonna settle on no. They talk about religion, but that is about a man. You know what I mean? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Or don't. So as we can see from this list, which is in no way exhaustive, the Bechdel test doesn't make a movie good. It doesn't make it feminist. It doesn't make it pro-women. It doesn't make it anti-men. It's just a really good yardstick to consider when we're discussing perspective in stories in media. But hey, what do I know? I'm just some woman, right? I'm just some woman who sporadically posts raging opinions on this website. But hey, let me know what you think. Let me know, you know, what's your experience with the Bechdel test? Let me know in the comments. What's your experience with these movies? You know, what movies were really big for your development, and your, you know, what were you exposed to as a kid that you watched back now and you're like, oh, that's why was I allowed to watch this as a child? Oh my god, I didn't put in Grease. I want to say 78, 77, 78. I'm going to say it does not pass the Bechdel test, because it absolutely does not, and it absolutely is good. But like, part of me is like, is it only good because of nostalgia? That's probably the end of the video. You know, just so succinct, you know, with my thoughts. Like and subscribe and comment and all that shit, or don't. And don't be a dick. Bye. Oh, and get vaccinated. Bro, freaking get vaccinated.